Welcome all. In today's video, we are going to see another scam in 19th century named Poyais Scam. Gregor MacGregor was a Scottish soldier and adventurer who perpetrated one of the most audacious scams of the 19th century. In 1820, he claimed to have been appointed the cacique, or chief, of the Poyais people in Central America. MacGregor claimed that Poyais was a fertile land of vast natural resources, and he convinced people to invest in a scheme to colonize Poyais, promising endless opportunities and riches. MacGregor produced an impressive prospectus, complete with maps, drawings, and glowing testimonials from satisfied investors. He advertised Poyais as a land of plenty, with a thriving economy, ample resources, and a welcoming and friendly native population. He promised investors that they would enjoy all the benefits of colonizing a new and exotic land, without any of the risks or uncertainties. MacGregor's scheme attracted over 200 people, mostly from Britain and Ireland, who invested their life savings in the venture. They were attracted to the promise of a new life, free from poverty and hardship, and eager to take part in an adventure that promised to change their fortunes forever. In 1822, MacGregor and his followers set sail for Poyais, but the promised land was nowhere to be found. After weeks at sea, they arrived at the Mosquito Coast of present-day Honduras, where they found a desolate jungle inhabited by hostile tribes. MacGregor tried to pass off the mosquito-infested swamp as Poyais, but the truth soon emerged. The investors were left stranded and penniless in a hostile and disease-ridden land. Many of them died from starvation, illness, or attacks by indigenous tribes. MacGregor, meanwhile, had already fled to France and later to Venezuela, where he continued his adventures and scams. He was never brought to justice for his crimes against the Poyais investors. MacGregor's biggest swindle raised £200,000. Over his lifetime, his bond market frauds ran to £1.3 million, which is around £3.6 billion today. The scandal exposed the lack of regulation in the financial markets and the dangers of investing in exotic schemes without proper due diligence. MacGregor's fraud inspired the term, Poyais syndrome, to describe the tendency of people to fall for get-rich-quick schemes that are too good to be true. The Poyais scheme was not the first or the last of its kind, but it remains one of the most notorious examples of financial fraud in history. The South Sea Bubble and the Mississippi Scheme of 1720, the Australian Agricultural Company of 1824 and the Enron scandal of 2002 are similar ones. MacGregor's audacity and charm allowed him to deceive people and escape punishment for his crimes. The Poyais affair led to a decline in the popularity of joint stock companies and a rise in the demand for better financial regulation. The investors who lost everything in the Poyais scam became a cautionary tale for future generations. They were lured by the promise of wealth and adventure, only to find themselves in a hostile and dangerous land. The tragedy of their plight was compounded by the fact that they had been misled by a charismatic and cunning scam artist. MacGregor's legacy is one of deception, greed, and recklessness, but also of daring and adventure. He was a complex and enigmatic figure, who managed to charm and deceive people in equal measure. The Poyais scheme remains a fascinating and cautionary tale that continues to capture the imagination of historians and storytellers. It is a story of greed, ambition, and folly, but also of courage, resilience, and human endurance. It is a reminder of the power of persuasion and the danger of blind trust in charismatic leaders. The Poyais affair exposed the dark side of the Age of Enlightenment, when reason and progress coexisted with ignorance and exploitation. As it all ends, MacGregor's scam was a product of its time, when the thirst for adventure and novelty often overruled prudence and common sense. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to our channel.